Wait, you're a Bears fan and you're not subscribed to my channel? Before this video starts, make sure to 1. Hit the subscribe button below to catch all Bears content right here on this podcast. 2. Hit the bell notification because you, my friend, are a diehard Bears fan. And 3. Like this video and tell all the Bears fans you know about the channel. Alright, that's better. Now that you're actually subscribed to the channel, make sure to bear down and enjoy this video.
Now this is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan.
That boy is Benny Hunter.
Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. In Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, we have yet another rumor, and obviously before I continue with this episode of Keek on the Mic, it is just a rumor. So, rumors can be true and rumors can be false, but you can't help but get somewhat excited for some of the rumors that you hear. But the new rumor coming out of Chicago is that the Bears are eyeing a run at Davantae Adams next month. So once the free agency period officially begins, once offseason officially begins for the entirety of the NFL, the Bears are in fact eyeing a run at Davantae Adams. Like I mentioned the other day in my video, the rumor is that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears are planning major changes at wide receiver. And like I said, rightfully so. When you look at the wide receiver free agent market, it's absolutely insane. Chris Godwin, you can add Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Michael Gallup, right? Davantae Adams. It's absolutely loaded when you look at the free agent wide receiver market. One name that I did not mention in my video, and you guys probably realized that when I was looking at my comments, you guys were saying, how about Davantae Adams? How about Davantae Adams? I didn't mention Davantae Adams, and there are reasons for that. But we can all agree that there is no question, there is no doubt that Davantae Adams is one of the best free agent receivers, if not the best free agent receiver on the market this year, and one of the best NFL wide receivers in the whole entire league. But the truth be told, there is one question I have in regards to Davantae Adams. Do we actually have a chance to land Davantae Adams? Let's really be realistic. I know as fans, we like to be optimistic, and that's okay. But let's be realistic here. Do we actually have a chance to land Davantae Adams? The rumor that is going around suggests that we do, in fact, have a chance to land Davantae Adams. There is belief that the Bears will see if they can make a play for Adams next month when the offseason begins. Once again, it is just a rumor, but this doesn't go by any surprise. When you have a guy like Davantae Adams at the top of his game, you could still consider him in his prime, even though he's 30 already. He is the best receiver in the game. Would that help Justin Fields? Yes. Would that help this Chicago Bears offense? Absolutely. But just like many Bears fans, including myself, the question was, do we actually have a chance? And the rumor suggests that we do. In an article that I read, it says this: Getsy and Davantae are extremely close. Davantae was the very first person Luke told he was taking the OC job in Chicago, even before any of the coaches in Green Bay or any other upper management position in Green Bay. That should tell you everything you need to know about the relationship right then and there. He went to Luke Getsy first, said, hey man, I'm taking the job as offensive coordinator in Chicago, maybe even give him a heads up. Hey, I know you're going to be a free agent. You don't know what happened in that conversation. They're just giving us the little basics of that conversation, right? But it could have easily been like, hey, Davantae, I'm taking the OC job in Chicago. There may be opportunity for you to come to Chicago. You never know. Adams has also constantly praised Luke Getsy for the development into the star player he is today. In an interview with Matt Schneidman of The Athletic, Adams went out of his way to praise Getsy by saying, one of the unsung heroes is Coach Getsy, Adams said of his wide receivers coach in the first 2 years his career took off after struggling in 2014 and 15. Luke Getsy is a coach who I really enjoyed having. I had a lot of respect for Getz and what he did with us because he played quarterback. So the way he dove into the wideout position as far as the particulars, that helped open up my eyes even more so that what I learned from Williams before that. So he's a guy who's trying to be a master at his craft. Overall, Davantae Adams believes that the new OC Luke Getsy played a pivotal role in what he is today. For him being one of the best receivers in the NFL, he gives most of the credit to Luke Getsy. So that's why there's rumors that the Bears do feel confident that if given the chance, that they will in fact be able to possibly land Davantae Adams and bring him to Chicago, which is absolutely mind-blowing because there's a lot of Bears fans, including myself, that maybe didn't even really consider Davantae Adams because we didn't even think we even had a chance to bring him to Chicago. But now there are rumors out there saying that that may not be the case. So we will have to find out. Bears fans, we all understand that adding a guy like Davantae Adams would make this Chicago Bears offense a whole lot better, and it would make Justin Fields' life a whole lot easier having a guy like Davantae Adams to throw to. But when I look at Davantae Adams, there are a couple of things that kind of concern me in regards to pursuing a guy like Davantae Adams. One being Davantae Adams is hoping to get paid in the upwards of like $30 million a year. That is a whole lot of money considering the Bears cap space, which we have a good amount of cap space, but I'm not sure if the Chicago Bears are going to want to give all their money to one player. And I know a lot of people are going to sit here and say, well, Keek, that means the Bears are cheap. That may be your mindset, but there are a lot of holes to fill on this roster. Offensive line, secondary, maybe middle linebacker. You can't really just throw your money at one guy. And yes, I'm not trying to sit here and say I don't want Davantae Adams, because I definitely do. But when you consider all the other holes that need to be filled on this Chicago Bears roster, you may have to be smart. And $30 million is a lot of money. So if we just sign one guy, let's say we just signed Davantae Adams for $30 million, you're risking that we still don't really have an offensive line, right? Then you're just banking on hitting on all your 5 draft picks in this upcoming draft. And I'm not sure if the Chicago Bears are willing to take that risk. Maybe if they can negotiate with Davantae Adams, which that's what you usually do when you're trying to bring in new players to your team. Maybe if you can negotiate with Davantae Adams and maybe have him come down a little bit, which I'm not sure it's likely because he wants to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Maybe if he comes down a little bit, maybe we will actually have a chance to bring him into Chicago. But that's why it's just a rumor, because he does want the upward $30 million a year, which may be tough for the Chicago Bears to handle. And I'm not sure if they will throw all that money towards Davantae Adams. Number 2, he's already 30 years old. Yes, for most people, they would say, hey, Keek, that is in his prime. 30 is not that old. But you have to consider that he wants $30 million a year at 30 years old, which kind of concerns me, because you may throw all that money to him, and you may take the risk of him getting hurt on his first year of the contract, which you take that risk with any wide receiver or any player that you sign. But him being 30 years old kind of concerns me about the amount of money that he wants. If he was 24 years old playing like this and he was asking for $30 million, I would probably be a little bit more comfortable. Don't get me wrong. I would still take Davantae Adams at 30 years old because he's still the best wide receiver in the game at his age. And I don't want anyone to get me wrong. If we can get Davantae Adams, I would absolutely take him. He would be a game changer for this Chicago Bears offense, and he would help Justin Fields get to the next level. And it also makes you feel a little bit more comfortable that him and Luke Getsy have that relationship, right? So he would probably have familiarity with what Luke Getsy may be trying to do in Chicago, which would also be nice. But I would just hope that they can try to lower what he wants to get him to Chicago, because we do have other areas of need on the roster, other holes to fill. So as much as I want Davantae Adams, is it realistic? I'm not sure. It's just a rumor. I'm optimistic that we can get Davantae Adams, but I also have to be realistic at the end of the day. If we can get Davantae Adams, that would be a huge signing for the Chicago Bears. But as of now, we're just got to wait and see what happens when the free agent period actually starts for the NFL offseason. So like always, Bears fans, Let me know. I just want to know from you guys. Would you guys bring in Davantae Adams? Would you sign Davantae Adams for $30 million? Or do you think that's just too much? With the other holes that the Chicago Bears need to fill, would you pass on Davantae Adams? Let me know down below in the comment section. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content around the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. Make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan you know. But other than that, I'll be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic.